Welcome to my channel Free Wealth. Subscribe to get more videos. The issue of inflation is really important. You may say it's the main reason for the decline of democracy. Inflation is a major factor in Latin America's declining democratic societies. So there is a great risk. Once the people realizes it can vote for itself, money, if you go overboard, you seriously damage civilization. However, it poses a significant, far-reaching threat. When the Roman Republic transitioned to an empire with an absolute emperor, they continued to slowly inflate the money for hundreds of years before the entire Damroff Empire fell. The only other major long-term threat we have is undoubtedly nuclear war. We've demonstrated it, Hitler. We're entering uncharted ground in terms of size when producing money on the scale that contemporary nations like Japan, the United States, Europe, etc. do. Nothing like what we're doing today has ever existed. And we are aware that if you carry too much money, it will eventually result in catastrophic trouble based on what has happened in other countries. And compared to before, we are now far closer to terrible trouble. However, it might still be a while off. I sincerely hope it is. It was a terrible recession when Volcker raised the prime rate to 20% after the 1970s, but the government was only paying 15% on its government bonds. That recession was awful. Lasted a very long time, stuck in a lot of pain, and I sincerely hope we won't be returning there. The circumstances, in my opinion, that permitted Volcker to accomplish that without political intervention were quite exceptional. In hindsight, I believe it was a wise decision on his part to do it in 2020. I doubt that today's politicians would be as prepared to let a fresh Volcker handle the economy with such rigor and trigger such a severe recession. Therefore, I believe that the current problems will likely be distinct from those of the past. Instead of the recession you're going to experience, you might wish you had a Volcker-style one. The problems that affect us could be more severe and difficult to resolve than those Volcker faced. Consider all the Latin American nations that engage in excessive money printing. They hire powerful guys and other people. Plato said that those events took place in the early Greek city-state democracies. One person, one vote, and a lot of equality lead to the emergence of demagogues who then saturate the populace, destroying democracy as we know it. That wasn't a wild idea, in my opinion, coming from Plato. That, in my opinion, adequately captured what occurred. It first occurred in ancient Greece, and it has continued to occur throughout Latin America. There is nowhere we wish to go. I don't, at least. We've taken some fairly drastic actions, and we have no idea how severe the consequences will be, whether we'll end up like Japan or something far worse. And the fact that we have no idea how things will turn out is what makes life intriguing. I believe we are aware that we are teetering on dangerous territory. I believe we also realize that some of our initial worries were exaggerated. Despite incredible extravagance by all prior measures, Japan continues to survive as a civilized country. Think about how alluring money printing is. You have a lot of bills with interest that you pay off with checking accounts that don't have interest. Consider how alluring it would be to a group of lawmakers. The money supply increases when interest payments are eliminated. It appears to be heaven. Naturally, when something becomes that alluring, it is going to be misused. You pause to consider if you want to make a long-term investment in stocks or real estate. There will be times of great suffering and other times of great prosperity. And I believe you simply have to learn to endure them. Treat the two impostors equally, according to Kipling. You must contend with both day and night. Do you find that to be a big problem? No. It alternates between the day and the night. There are booms and busts from time to time. You are worrying about the appropriate issues. In a contemporary democracy in the Keynesian era, all of you people who are concerned about inflation, the future of the republic, and other issues will, of course, see a large-scale response from the government. This time, there was a greater response than at any other moment in American history. They simply threw money at the issue, and while they were certainly justified in their concern of what might transpire and their liberal use of financial resources, they may have gone a bit beyond. They put so much money at it so quickly that it's difficult for the restaurants to get workers, but I don't criticize it. These decisions are challenging to make under duress. You have to have faith in the capability of our technological civilization, I suppose. However, it is still a fascinating phenomenon. The majority of modernity emerged in the last 100 years, from 1922 to 2022. And that received yet another sizable portion of modernism in the last 100 years. And prior to that, circumstances were essentially unchanged. Life was pretty harsh, brief, constrained, and other things for thousands of years prior. I don't believe we will ever have the printing press, air conditioning, or modern medicine, which are what I refer to as the true human necessities. Consider what it would have been like to first have the steam engine, the steamship, the railroad, as well as some improvements to farming and plumbing. You had 100 years of it, and they came to an end in 1922. The next 100 years brought us the automobile, airplane, record player, movies, widely available electricity, modern medicine, and air conditioning in the South. 3 infant deaths meant that if you wanted 3 kids, you had to have 6 since those were our ancestors. Imagine how painful it would be to see half of your children die. It's incredible how much